Hello everyone, my name is Alex Gomez and welcome to my channel. On today's video we're gonna be sculpting an stylized version of Jeff Bridges. So this is gonna be the sculpting processes. I'm gonna take you what I learned from this, and if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post a video every Friday. So let's get started, guys. Okay, so in this process I'm starting with a Dynawax sphere, and I pretty much do the block out of the face, kind of like carving out or carving in the eye sockets, redefining the bone cheeks as well of the temporals, and kind of like make the marks of where the nose and the mouth is gonna be, so kind of like have a better reference of or proportions where the features of the face are going to be. And it's really rough. I don't get into any details, and definitely after that I add the eyes, because it's gonna bring, I think, when you work on a character and you bring the eyes and then you put some hair on, or whatever mustache or beard in this case that the character has, it definitely makes a big difference and it gives you a better sense of what your character is looking like. You're gonna see in this process, like I'm still gonna be modifying a lot of the details and a lot of the shapes just to get the likeness as much as I can. I don't do as many likeness projects as I wish. I definitely really want to start doing some more likeness, as I see in the title of this video, as I wrote it down, that it's gonna be a series. So I want to take a celebrity or other people's photographs and make it like a stylized likeness studies. So it's a good practice, definitely it's a good practice to try to represent and try to educate your eye and your hands to definitely reflect what you're seeing, and it's a good way to achieve some muscle memory and try to look, and it's the same as you're drawing, and try to match as much as you can of what you're seeing. So it's a good exercise, a good study that I'm gonna keep doing it. And yeah, so pretty much in my block out I just try to focus mostly in the most prominent features of the character, in this case Jeff Bridges. Like, for example, like the eyes, like the nose, the mouth. The kind of mouth that he has is very unique, the lower lip. So that's one of the things that I try to work most of it, because it's very distinctive feature of his face. But then as I always say, if I want to create a new object, sometimes I just extract, sometimes I just create it from an append. But in this case I'm just extracting to create the mustache. In the beginning, the mustache, I didn't like it as much the way that I was doing it. I used the clay buildup and then the damp standard just to create the creases, but I ended up breaking symmetry at the end and modified a little bit more because it looks too perfect and it wasn't looking right. So for the ear, I'm so lazy to sculpt here, so I did once. I don't know if you recall my videos. I'm gonna leave the description before of the video how to model an ear. So I model an ear, and that saved me a lot of time. I just bring it every time as a subtool, and it saves me tons of time of my creative process. Because I don't want to really spend time with ears. Like, ears, they look pretty much the same. Sometimes they're different, but for my case I just want to focus more in the facial features. So in the beard I try to do the same technique as I was doing with the mustache, and exactly the same happened. It kind of like look nice, but it's too perfect to symmetry, and I didn't like that, so I ended up as well changing it after. And I think it got like a way better results when I changed it. So I decided to accentuate a little bit more the features in the face, like the eyebrows and the bone cheeks as well, just a little bit more, just to keep more like that strength feature in the face of the character. And the hair, for the hair I just created a cylinder and modified with a bend curve, so you can just access with the bend curve in your gizmo in the gear icon and start modifying it like that. So as I said, like for me it was a struggle in the beginning, try to create hair, but every time that I'm doing this like once a week if I can. So I think I'm getting like a better technique, a better workflow, and as I say, it's always a matter of practice. You practice, you're gonna find your own techniques and your own workflows that are gonna work the best for your characters. So yeah, so for the hair I was just doing the same exactly technique that I was doing with the mustache and as well with the beard. So doing the kind of like with the clay build-up, kind of like doing like some strands, and then like define it a little bit more with the dam standard using the add and C add and C sub. And once I had like the side hairs, I kind of like duplicated and modified it. But in this case, like I found he was looking like very hipster with that type of hair going kind of like upwards in the sides. So at the end I didn't record that, but I modified it a lot more. I'm gonna show to you guys the modifications that I did in this project, that I honestly like I was happy with them. But it's a matter of going back and forward, looking at your references, gather more references, and look at your sculpt and see what it works, and be honest with yourself and see if something is working or something is not working. In the eyes, this is a totally different technique that I did with the eyes. I was just looking at Flip Normal's tutorials on how to sculpt eyes, and it's pretty simple to do this kind of stylized characters. You know, just kind of like carve a circle around in the front of the eye, and then a little bit a smaller one, and then a deeper one, very small, where that's the iris or the pupil. Sorry. So it's much better doing it like that way for this kind of characters. When I'm doing like a more stylized cartoony, I just tend to do a different way. But this, I think it works really good with this kind of character. So now that I have, for example, one side of the head, and I think that the character is looking much better as it's supposed to be looking, and that's what I mentioned in the beginning, hair and the features and the hair, eyes, eyebrows. And if the character has a mustache and a beard, it's gonna make a big difference. The character is gonna look much better. Definitely, you know, you can. I find like it's really hard to achieve the likeness when you have a character that has hair but you haven't implemented any hair. So I still like working in a little bit more details in here. My Dynamesh for the head, I definitely increased the resolution probably to 1440. The Dynamesh, so I won't lose any resolution, because I know already that I'm not gonna insert any other objects. The only thing that I was inserting was the ear, and after that I know that is fine. So my Dynamesh resolution is pretty high, and I don't need any more or any less resolution to that, because I don't need to merge anything else. Okay, so yeah, so I kind of like duplicated the other side for the other side of the head and manipulated a little bit, but that changed a lot. Not a lot, but quite a bit it changed, and I think it changed for the better when you're gonna see at the end of the video how it changed, and it made a big difference in my sculpt. And I keep tweaking the beard, look at my reference, tweaking the rest of the part, kind of like duplicating the side hairs and kind of like fill it up a little bit more. But yeah, I think it was a good exercise, good practice to do. And yeah, I always kept tweaking. For the lighting and texturing, I just decided just to export it to Substance Painter, kind of like create a low res of it, or C remesh, and it kind of like a sculpt, no granite, but kind of like a clayish, kind of like material just for the render, and I just drew one light and I use GI for it. But yeah, it was a really good exercise that I'm really happy with the results. I know there's some stuff that it could have been improved, but like every single project, you're gonna find things that you're gonna improve or you cannot improve, or you say, oh, I wish I would have done a different technique. But you know, it's better to just leave it as it is and move on with your next project if you wanna keep improving and apply whatever you learned or whatever you decide that wasn't working or was gonna work better for future things. So keep that in mind. That is not gonna, you know, like sometimes we tend as an artist to be so perfectionist, and it doesn't matter as much as long as you learn from the process and apply the techniques that you have learned and the mistakes that you have done in your sculpts, and kind of like I learn from that and fix them in your future projects. I think that is the best way to learn. Also, as I added some hair strands there and it didn't work as good. I merged all the hair so I could just give it a better shape, because wasn't really going according with the design, or the reference picture that I have, or the photograph. So I modify a little bit, and it's okay to do it in this stage of the process, of the sculpting process. It's okay to still modify and still moving stuff and look what is working the best or what is not working the best. It's still a good practice to do. So then I moved to the shirt, and the shirt is just very simple. Just append a sphere and just create the shape, just cut it down and cut the shoulders too, and apply some details with with clay buildup and the pinch tool from Chain Olsen's, and that's all. Like, look, it's pretty much was probably the easiest part. And as you can see here in this, this is the final one. So I add some strands there, and I add a little bit, the head is a little bit different as well. I break symmetry and put like the eyebrow up, and also the mouth is a little bit different, but definitely like the strands of the hair make a big difference to it once I add it. And as you see, this part also, it makes a difference. Was going all the way up and it wasn't working for me, so that's something that I definitely changed too. Okay, so perfect, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If there's any topics or sculpting topics, 3D stuff that you guys want me to cover, just please tell me in your comments. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment. Please check out my other 2 videos, and see you next Friday, guys. Take care and have an amazing weekend. Bye.